All right, it is Tuesday, February 16th. We're going to be doing the front and back of our Bellwork today. Our skill this week that we're looking for is key details to support main idea. So we'll be looking at two fiction passages and then two nonfiction passages this week. So let's begin. All right, first day of, let's look at our questions. Which of the following best describes the main idea? So we have three choices right here. Best describes. Question 2, what is the main idea of the second paragraph? Okay, so this one we need to pay attention to the second paragraph. Which detail, so now down to question 3, I'll move my paper. Question 3, which detail from the text best supports the idea? Okay, best supports the idea that the character is nervous. Okay, and then which of the following details from the text show the reader is flexible, except, and we know that still means not. Okay, so 2 are going to show flexible, 1 is not going to show flexible. So we need to figure out which one is not. All right, so we are ready to look at our passage, and we have set our focus with our questions. I will do the first 2 with you, and you will do 3 and 4 on your own. First day of soccer. Let's go, girls, Coach Ito called out as he blew his whistle and wiped sweat from his brow. I felt my legs turn to rubber and my throat tighten. I look around the other girls with their fancy cleats and shin guards. I glanced down at my bare shins and tattered tennis shoes. Okay, so this is what she's wearing, and this is what the other players are wearing. Okay, so that's a complete difference right there. I know my dad will take me shopping for all my soccer gear this weekend, but for now, I feel like everybody knows I'm a newbie. So that's describing how she feels. They kick the ball back and forth to each other while chatting about their school days. I shuffle my feet slowly towards the coach, wondering if I was the only one in the world who had never played soccer. So everybody else looks pretty experienced. And just with she saying shuffling my feet slowly. Coach Ito started practice with stretching. Stretching puts my mind at ease. Everybody in my family has always called me noodle or pretzel. I have been super flexible ever since I could remember, which is why my mom entered me in gymnastics when I was 3. Okay, so gymnastics was something that she did when she was 3. I live and breathe gymnastics and spend almost every day of the week on the mats. But my dad thought soccer would be a fun way to meet some new friends in my own hometown. Okay, so gymnastics is what she's good at, so this is something brand new to her, and her dad was saying it would be a fun way to meet new friends. Okay. I watched the other girls struggle to touch their toes, and I found some comfort in knowing it was such an easy task for me. So here's how she is. She sees them struggling. Other girls struggle. And it was easy. I felt the butterflies in my stomach settle as we continued our stretching. Perhaps it wouldn't be so bad after all. All right, let's start some drills, Coach Ito barked. We lined up across from each other and were able to dribble the ball around each one. It looked so easy that I began to hold my head up high. I spent hours swinging from the bar and flipping through the air each afternoon. How hard could kicking a ball around be? I started with confidence, and then I feel my feet get all tangled up, and I hit the ground. Oh, my entire face goes red, and I know everyone has stopped to see how I will react. They hold their breath, waiting to see if I will cry. I stand and dust myself off with a smile. I was embarrassed, but I couldn't help but think I had gotten the worst and most embarrassing part of my day. What was that? Falling in front of everybody. Over with. The other girls cheered and smiled back at me, knowing I was going to be just fine. First day of soccer. Well, that'd have all kinds of butterflies if you've never done it before. All right, which of the following best describes the main idea of the passage? A girl starts soccer but decides it's not for her. Well, she says right here, I'm going to be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate that one. A girl participates in a new sport. That's a good possibility. A girl learns she is flexible. No, she didn't just learn it. She's known that since she was 3. So our correct answer is B. I have to think about what I'm reading in order to be able to eliminate. Because right here it says she was embarrassed, but she's going to be just fine. So that means we can eliminate that one. She participates in a new sport. She did talk about that. A girl learns she is flexible. She's known that all along. All right. 2. What is the main idea of the second paragraph? So here's my second paragraph right here. I'm going to put a 2 by it. What is the main idea of the second paragraph? Okay. Is it of her mistakes, of her fears, of her flexibility? Well, let's see. Coach Ito started to practice with stretching. Stretching puts my mind at ease. Everyone in my family has always called me Noodle or Pretzel. So she does it so much that they have nicknames for her with her stretching. I have been super flexible since I was. All right. So it did talk about mistakes. That kind of was down here when she tripped and her feet got tangled. Did it mention her fears? That kind of was up here a little bit and down here a little bit. So I'm not in paragraph 2. Flexibility. Well, let's see if they're calling her Noodle and Pretzel, and she's been in gymnastics since she was 3. What else did I struggled to touch her toes, and it was easy for her. So C is my correct answer, and you will do 3 and 4. Flip to the back. We're doing both today. All right. Which of the following best states the main idea? Okay, so what's the main idea? What is the last paragraph? So that tells me I need to pay attention to the last paragraph, mostly about. Which of the following details would best complete? So this is in order. So this has happened first, this happened second, so I need to figure out which of these happened. Okay, best complete the organizer. So if I know this is first and this is second, then I'm looking for something that kind of was third. And then what is the second paragraph? I'm going to circle that and underline mostly about. So still main idea. And now we're looking at an informational text. Okay, Statue of Liberty. So we can see right there, just in case you didn't know, that is her. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless. Tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. The Statue of Liberty. All right. The Statue of Liberty is a famous American symbol that stands tall in New York Harbor. The Statue of Liberty was designed to represent many different important American values. The Statue of Liberty is of a Roman goddess, Libertaris. The goddess, I'm glad we just did our mythology unit. The goddess represented freedom. Okay, so let's get that. Freedom. The torch the Lady Liberty holds high in the air represents enlightenment or knowledge. That's good to know. The torch lights the path to freedom. The Statue of Liberty is often seen as a welcome to those who are moving to America from other countries. The statue represents freedom, hope, and safety. The Statue of Liberty was given to America as a gift from France. America had just won her independence from England. France had helped America during the war. During and after the war, America was working to create a free country with fair government. Okay, working to create free government. A free country with fair government. France wanted to celebrate America's accomplishment. The French were also hoping to create a similar government, so they were really paying attention. They hoped one day to have a democracy. All right, so that's my paragraph 2. So I remember one of my questions was about that. While many people marvel over the beauty of such an amazing statue, others were critical. So that means some liked it, some didn't. During the time the French artist created the artwork, freedom was not desired by all. To have a free government, the people had to fight or rebel. Okay, so you had to fight and rebel against the government they currently had. So that's why we left England, and that's why we fought against England. The idea of fighting or going to war for such freedoms meant sacrifice. People knew fighting for freedom could mean violence, war, and death. Yes, that's true. In order for the artist to gain funding for his work, it was important that he created something that represented freedom, but also represented peace, of freedom and peace. The Statue of Liberty did both. All right, so which of the following best states the main idea of the passage? So the whole thing, all 3 chapters. Okay, was the main idea of the goddess Libertarius? Well, I mean, it mentioned her and it told us who she was made to look like, but that's not what the whole paragraph, the whole text is about. The Statue of Liberty is an American symbol. Yeah, it represents freedom, hope, safety. All right, that's a possibility. France greatly admired America's independence from England. Yeah, that was just mentioned just briefly down here, but it was talked about enlightenment and freedom. And then here it was talking about hope to have a democracy, create. Yeah, that's okay. All right, I'm going to eliminate that one because it just talked about France here. So B is my correct answer. All right, let's look at 2. What is the last paragraph? Okay, so right here. So we know this has a lot to do with France and what they were watching us. Okay, why some people disagreed with the Statue of Liberty? Well, some were for it and some were against it. But what he was talking about, let's just see. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. Why France gifted the statue to America and the French artist who created the statue. Okay, so the last paragraph, mostly about, I'm going to read it again. While many people marveled over the beauty of such an amazing statue, others were critical. During the time the French artist created the artwork, freedom was not desired by all. Okay, to have a free government, people would have to fight or rebel against the government they currently had. That was against England. The idea of fighting or going to war for such freedoms meant sacrifice. People knew fighting for freedom would mean violence, war, and death. In order for the artist to gain funding for his work, it was important that he created something that was that represented freedom, but was also represented peace. The Statue of Liberty did that. Okay, so does it talk about why some people disagree with the Statue of Liberty? Yeah, it did that. But boy, okay, I'm going to just look at my rest. Why France gifted the Statue of Liberty and the French artist who created. Well, it didn't really mention much about him, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate him. It kind of mentioned him, and we know that it did, but the last, what is it mostly about? Okay, why some people disagreed? Well, it did mention that, but why did France give it to us? Well, it says right here, as to looking at France was watching, they wanted to have that. I am thinking that is true. So I'm still looking for and looking at this, I believe that this was going to be. Let me still see. I don't know. I'm struggling here because this one's a good one too. Why I think I'm going to have to eliminate that. I was thinking that, but now when I look and I see, I go rebel. Fighting, going to war. I am thinking, see how I had to go back to my text to really eliminate this one and see that it is more of this one? Okay, you guys are ready to go. Thanks.